Hey, fellow murder peeps, I'm Sarah.
You are?
Yeah?
Oh, that's Sarah, folks.
And you are?
Who wants to know?
Sarah?
Oh, and I'm Anthony.
You're such a dork. Apparently we're changing the intro up every single time now. Welcome to Bonding Over Murder, the show where I tell Anthony true crime stories he's never heard of before.
Never heard of him, and there's a reason why I never heard of him, but I know him now.
Yep, and there's no going back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Got a case you want us to cover? Email us at bondingovermurder@gmail.com. So today, I let Anthony choose the country of our current case. He still doesn't know what the hell's going on, but I figured I'd involve him a little bit more.
But I chose the Irish.
Yeah, sorry if that's offensive.
Hey, I'm mostly Irish, it's fine.
Yeah, so am I. We're both partly Irish, but still.
Yeah, you can make fun of the Irish. I'm sure it's fair game.
I don't think so.
You kind of get away with being able to make fun of countries where they're mostly white.
Because we're also white?
Yeah, it's kind of fair game.
Either way, moving on.
Kiss me, I'm Irish.
Just like the leprechaun from Simpsons.
Yeah, anyways.
So today we're going to be talking about Lenny Murphy and the Shankill Butchers.
Lenny Murphy and the Shankill Butchers?
Or Shankill. Sorry.
Shankill Butchers.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the pronunciation. I may have Irish in me, but I'm 100% Canadian, so...
Oh, fuck, eh? We sound like a big pair of hosers.
Oh, there we go. We balance it out by making fun of ourselves.
Oh, there you go.
So we're good now. So this was a paramilitary/terrorist group who hated Catholics and would torture and kill them.
Oh, that's intense.
Yeah, so it's our first terrorist group, or paramilitary.
Yeah.
I don't know if they said the word terrorist, but I'm going to use the word terrorist.
So what do you mean when you say paramilitary?
I'm not really sure. That's just what they kept calling it. It's not like an official military, like they just created their own military group, essentially. All right, well, let's get into it. Hugh Leonard Thompson Murphy, who's known as Lenny, was born on March 2nd, 1952 in Belfast, Ireland.
50s Lenny, Belfast, Ireland. Right on.
Very good. He was the youngest of 3 children, and his father was a dock worker.
Okay.
The family suffered from harassment in the community for being mistaken for practicing Catholics.
And this was a bad thing at the time?
Yes, so at this point in time, even if your last name sounded Catholic, you were bullied and harassed.
What does a Catholic last name sound like?
I'm not really sure about that.
I wonder.
Apparently there's a difference. I don't know anything about that particularly.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's kind of an American stereotype where you can tell a Jewish person by their last name, right? So maybe it was something like that in the Ireland in the 50s. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
So Belfast is in Northern Ireland, and Northern Ireland was, and partly still is, segregated based on religion. So Belfast had entire communities that were either completely Catholic or Protestant, including the workplaces.
Okay. Wow.
So the reason for this conflict was that some people who were mainly Protestant wanted Northern Ireland to stay within the United Kingdom. So, like England, Scotland,
yep.
While the other group, who were mainly Catholic, wanted Northern Ireland to leave the UK and join a united Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Because most of Ireland is divided politically, so the Republic of Ireland covers most of the country, but Northern Ireland, which is part of the Ulster province, is still part of the UK.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much all of Northern Ireland is in the Ulster province.
Okay.
And they don't want, at this point in time, they did not want to be a part of, or the Protestant, community didn't want to be part of the UK, but the Catholics did.
Yeah, well, the religious notions aside, we can kind of relate to that here in Alberta. There's a lot of people in Alberta that want to separate from Canada, and then there's a lot of people like us who don't want to.
Oh, sorry, I got that mixed up. The Protestants wanted Northern Ireland to stay within the UK, and the Catholics wanted to leave the UK.
Oh, okay.
I got that mixed up. Sorry,
okay,
guys.
Yeah, no, that's a little different.
Yeah.
All right.
So Murphy went to Argyle Primary School and the Model Secondary School on Shankill Road,
Shankill Road.
So everything happens pretty much on Shankill Road.
Okay.
Hence the Shankill Butchers.
Hence the Shankill Butchers.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
right on.
So in school, he was known to be a bully and would steal things.
Okay, so not exactly a stand-up kid.
No, not. He's bad. He's he's kind of a really sadistic, fucked up person.
He's bad to the bone.
Not in a cool way.
Oh.
Which, incidentally, Bad to the Bone is the ringtone my dad chose for his contacts on my phone. Yeah, my dad likes that song. Either way, if you're listening, hi, Dad.
Hi.
So he dropped out of school and joined a paramilitary loyalist group called the Ulster Volunteer Force, or UVF is how I'm going to keep referring to them.
So the UVF stands for the what volunteer force?
Ulster Volunteer Force.
Ulster, because it's from the Ulster province.
Yes.
Okay, the Ulster Volunteer Force.
UVF, he joined this in 1969.
Okay.
So the group wanted to combat Irish republicanism, particularly the Irish Republican Army, which is the IRA.
Okay.
So the UVS wanted Ireland to continue being part of the UK.
Okay. That sounds like a recipe for some nasty times.
And we're gonna jump right into them.
Yeah.
So on August 12th to August 17th of 1969, civil rights marches were held and were known as the Battle of the Bogside.
Okay.
The marches demanded an end to the discrimination against Catholics and nationalists. So nationalists are the people, that want to leave and be part of the Republic.
Yeah, that makes sense. The nationalists. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So they wanted to stop being discriminated against.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This turned into a 3-day riot between the Nationalists and the Loyalists, which are what the UVF are part of.
Right.
So there's multiple different Loyalist army, like paramilitary groups. The UVF is just one of them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but there's multiple.
Getting nasty.
Yeah, 8 people were shot and killed, while hundreds were injured. Murphy participated in the riots and attacked Catholics on the streets as well as in their homes.
Used as an opportunity to keep bullying, did he?
Oh, yeah. He fucking hates the Catholics.
Attack them in their homes. Whew.
So, a theory on why he's so against Catholics, and what we'll get into in the future, on how many horrible things he does to Catholics, is because of the harassment he got when he was a kid. Because his last name sounded Catholic. So because he was bullied, his family is harassed for that, it kind of, turned him to hate
I can't
Catholics.
say that doesn't really make sense because
That's just the theory.
Yeah, you'd think he'd want to go after, as far as vengeance is concerned, go after the people that made his life hell. But I could see his frustration being taken out on the people that he was mistaken for being.
Yes.
I could see that happening. It's misguided, of course. But,
of course. This whole thing's fucking misguided.
Yeah. Welcome to Bonding Over Murder.
Yeah. Nothing about this is not misguided. This entire fucking episode is misguided.
I suppose we wouldn't have a single episode if everyone made responsible choices.
It's not welcome to Bonding Over Just Lovely Human Beings show.
Welcome to Bonding Over Good Choices. Today we'll find about people that made savvy investments.
And didn't murder or horribly mangle people, Kind of would be not so interesting of a show, I guess.
I don't know. Would you guys watch that show? Maybe we could just switch right now. We'll just change it. From now on, we'll only talk about the pleasant things that happen.
Yeah. Either way. So the British Army was deployed to restore order, and peace lines/walls were created to separate both sides. So they actually created walls to segregate the Catholic and Protestant neighborhoods.
That's a rough time.
Yeah. Well, it's bad when the army has to get involved. And it's not even your fucking country, it's the British Army.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It would have to be the British Army, because if there was paramilitary groups going on, I think that means military groups outside of the normal organized military. But that means your soldiers and your weaponry and maybe even your tanks and heavy vehicles are part of the conflict, which is getting pretty scary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. So Murphy also joined other groups of loyalists in kidnapping, torturing, and murdering Catholic people.
Holy shit.
Oh, it's just all fucking, these poor people, are just living life and, are just... But it's tale as old as time, right?
Yeah.
Fighting over religion.
Yeah, people being persecuted for their beliefs, yeah.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be the first time that Catholics have been on the other side of that fence, right? So... I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not, blaming anyone or shaming any victim shaming here. I'm just saying, all religions are usually not, okay, maybe not all religions, but many, many religions out there have a pretty murky past.
During this time, Murphy would also go to the trials of paramilitary volunteers that were arrested and had to go to court. He would do this to learn the methods of both the police and other paramilitary groups. So he would go to these trials, see how the police caught them, essentially, and how the paramilitary people, dealt with it.
Okay.
And he would learn from that for if he, got arrested.
Okay.
So the strategy would later help him on September 26, 1972, when Murphy killed someone for the first time. The man was suspected of selling firearms to the IRA, which is the Irish,
I remember. Yeah.
So
a sympathizer selling weapons to the IRA.
Yeah. Murphy and his accomplice named Mervyn Connor were both charged and arrested for the murder. While Murphy was put in a police lineup to be identified by eyewitnesses, he created a disturbance and stepped out of the lineup. So, I don't know what the disturbance was.
Smoke bomb.
That'd be really funny if it was. But I don't think so.
Murphy drops a smoke bomb and then just runs away. Whoop, 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 whoop. Smoke bomb. Whoop, 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 whoop.
That's a great image.
Yeah.
It's a great image. Don't think that's what happened, but I can just imagine him being like, smoke bomb. Like saying the word smoke bomb.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so even though 2 eyewitnesses positively identified him in the lineup after, order was restored, it was thrown out of court as the judge suspected that the disturbance might have affected the witness's judgment.
Wow.
So his plan actually worked.
Yeah, you couldn't tell which one it was. Someone dropped a smoke bomb.
And this is where it gets kind of nutty.
Fucking weird.
Yeah, so this is kind of nutty. So on top of that, in April of 1973, 2 months before his trial for the murder, Connor died while imprisoned by ingesting a cyanide pill.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he left a suicide note exonerating Murphy of the crime. It is strongly suggested that Murphy is the one that killed him, as the two were in the same cell block.
Oh, wow.
So
they suspected Murphy fed him a cyanide pill?
Yeah, he forced him to have the cyanide pill after writing the suicide note exonerating him.
Well, he is a bully.
And a sadistic fuck,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know all his crimes yet. I know you always come in with a really biased opinion, right? Because you've done all the research.
Yep.
But I don't know how sadistic he is. I know he's a murderer now, and or a co-murderer and a bully. But that's as far as I know so far. So I mean, I'm putting the pieces together with what I know.
Well, you'll end up hating him as much as I do at the end of this. I promise.
Okay. Not a big fan of the Murphy.
So a month after this, coincidentally, he married Margaret Gillespie and had a daughter later that year.
He was a fan of the Murphy.
Yeah, and they had 6 kids together.
Oh, wow. Really? A big fan of the Murphy. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if they stayed together or anything, because I didn't hear anything after that. But, yeah. Murphy was acquitted on June 18th, 1973, but was rearrested shortly after and served 3 years in prison for multiple escape attempts.
Oh, wow.
So he kept trying to escape prison while he was, there for the first murder. And then, once he got acquitted for that, he got sent back for 3 years for trying to escape.
Oh, jeez.
So, dude, just stay in prison and then you wouldn't have had to serve 3 years. But, I guess that's 3 years of people not dying.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. On May 13th, 1975, Murphy was released, and by that September, he created his own loyalist gang that would later be called the Shankill Butchers.
Okay.
As we know. He started the gang with his brother John and recruited men from other loyalist groups that had a reputation for thuggery.
Right. Yeah. They would do well in this current climate.
Yes.
Or in the climate of the 60s anyways.
Yeah. The men were also known to drink and socialize at a pub called the Brown Bear that resided on the Shankill Road.
Right.
So it's all on Shankill Road.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. Oof, scary.
Yeah, the group operated independently of the UVF commanders. They would choose their own targets and use their own methods to dispose of them, essentially. More than 20 men joined the group.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so he had quite the following. On October 2nd, 1975, the Butchers killed 4 Catholics during an attempted robbery of a liquor store.
What is robbing a okay, so
they're just any
Catholics
just an asshole. They can.
No, I know, but they're just an asshole gang now. What does robbing liquor stores have to do with any of this?
It is just, they fucking hate Catholics and they want all the Catholics to die. And they
right,
keep
but they also were just robbing a liquor store, too. They're just dicks.
Yeah.
They're just being dicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The group...
Not saying you could murder people because of their religious ideations and not be a dick. You're a dick anyways, but I'm just saying the liquor store robbery seems so just like, hey, while we're dicks, let's go get some booze.
Oh, there's some Catholics that run this liquor store. Let's go fucking kill them and take some liquor while we're at it.
Jeez.
Because they just hate the Catholics.
Yeah.
So the group would target people using side streets and back alleys, as these were commonly used by Catholic people to get home. So, like, if you took certain side streets and back alleys, like, it was pretty clear that you were Catholic, because only Catholics took those routes, apparently.
Yeah.
So that's how they got most of their victims.
Oh, scary.
Yeah. So Murphy's lieutenant of the gang was a man named William Moore, who supplied the group with knives and cleavers that he stole from a previous job he had as a meat packer.
Wow.
He also owned a black taxi that the group would use to stalk their victims and kidnap
them. So this
is
where the butcher kind of name comes from, is the meat cleaver and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
So on November 24th, 1975, Murphy murdered a Catholic person using these side streets. The man was hit over the head with a metal object, then shoved into the taxi. He was tortured by members of the group while being driven to a deserted area.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. The butchers killed him by cutting his throat to his spine, nearly decapitating him.
Yeah, what a dick.
Yeah. I was watching a documentary on YouTube. I'll share the link on the website, where they interviewed that guy's daughter, and apparently they had to put like a metal brace on his neck to cover up his neck so they couldn't see it at the funeral or whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
Which is pretty fucked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, super fucked. I just can't imagine giving a shit what someone else believes as far as their religious ideations are. I know for them it's attached to the separatist movement.
Yeah,
right?
It's more so that than the religion. It's just that's kind of how it happened.
Right. But I mean, they, like, at least in all your research, you keep saying because they were Catholic, not because they were, nationalists or anything like that. Like, it's almost like they became one and the same. It's like if you were Catholic, you were assumed you were a nationalist. I just can't imagine. Like, I can't imagine giving a fuck, about someone's skin color, their race, their orientation. Like, fuck, man, I don't care. Like, I can't imagine like getting that uppity about it. But I think they just need an excuse to murder people. They were already murderers. They were already fucking terrible people. They just needed an excuse, right?
Yeah, if people are gonna kill no matter what, they might not have a good reason, but they're just like, I don't
sometimes
care.
I think all they need is the smallest of reasons, and then they'll just unleash what they wanted to unleash anyways.
Yeah.
Nah.
So Moore drove the victims to their final destination, and Murphy would be the one to cut their throats.
Right.
Yeah. So the two worked together as well as the rest of the group. So on January 10th, 1976, the butchers killed a Catholic man by shooting him 6 times close range.
Wow.
So just the murder keeps going and going. Murphy was known to give his victims a slow and painful death. He was known for being ruthless and sadistic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're going to cut someone's throat to their fucking spine, nearly decapitating them, that's
it's a crime of passion. Yeah.
That's pretty fucked. You must, like...
Or shooting 6 times at close range, like it's... I think a lot of it, I mean, I'm no expert, but I think a lot of it, like you said, comes from the fact that he was bullied himself and accused of being Catholic, which just, like, even if it's rational or not, it's not rational, but even if it's not rational, he developed this huge hatred for Catholics. So you can just tell that is bursting out of him. He's unstable and he's just attacking them with this, because it is a crime of passion, right? Like, it's not a quick shot. Even the torture, right? He just wants them to suffer as much as he feels he's suffered. They're probably suffering rather more, but
I think part of it, he just enjoys seeing people suffer.
I mean, it could be that too. I
think it could be a mix of both.
He could just be a psychopath, yeah. But
I think it's maybe a mix of both.
Yeah, maybe.
So the group killed 2 more Catholic people on February 6th and 26th of 1976, and their throats were also cut.
That's crazy.
So because of, so many people's throats getting cut, and that's how they were murdered, that's how they got the name Shankill Butchers. Yeah, exactly. During this time, the group also killed 2 people from other loyalist parties in a gang feud.
Other loyalist parties?
There's multiple loyalist parties.
But they're pro-loyalist, so What?
Just because you're on the same side doesn't mean that
you can't occasionally stab each other.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
These fucking guys.
Yeah. So one of these members was tortured in front of a crowd at a loyalist bar.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty fucked.
It's a fucked up time.
Fucked up people.
Yeah.
Like, really fucked up people. Like, honestly.
Just to be sure, you're referring to these specific people that are part of the gang.
Yes.
Not people as in Irish or Catholic or not, you know what I mean?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm talking about the Shankill Butchers.
Just the butchers are the fucked up people, yeah.
And especially Lenny Murphy and William Moore.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're both dead. You know, spoiler alert.
Yeah, that was a spoiler.
Whatever, I'll get into it later, but...
Not a big fan of the Lenny.
or the William. I thought about using his like first name to describe him, but I didn't want to give him like that level of respect.
Sure. Yeah.
Because Lenny's just a funny name to me.
Yeah. We could just call him Princess Mimi from now on.
Why Princess Mimi? What is that from?
I have no idea. It just seemed like a name he wouldn't appreciate being called. So I decided that's what we'll call him. So
that reminds me of the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. She calls his like member Princess Sophia.
Oh.
So
that'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Princess Mimi's kind of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
degrading
not a very masculine name. I kind of figured he'd like it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the Butchers also shot up a van that was filled with Protestant factory workers that the group mistook for being Catholic. So
wow.
They didn't even kill just Catholic people. They killed everybody.
Again, I already hate them, but fucking idiots. Like, they don't even care.
Yeah, no, they don't. They're just like, ooh, more people to kill. Alrighty.
Yeah. A van full of people?
Of factory workers. So they were,
fuck.
On their way to work, and the van just got all shut up.
That's fucking... How many people died in that van?
2 people were dead, and 2 more people were seriously injured.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
So, obviously, the community started to get scared to the point that if they saw a black taxi, which is how they, like I said...
And it must have just been a chaotic time, because it doesn't sound like it'd be too hard to track these guys if the police force was on top of it, but it was probably just a crazy time. The police force couldn't stay on top of all this. Yeah,
and I forgot to mention before, the taxi was black, which, only 800 of the taxis in the area were black.
Right.
So anytime people were walking home at night or whatever and they saw a black taxi, they would immediately take a different route home.
I would paint my taxi. I gotta tell you, if I happen to be driving a black taxi, I'd be like, that's it, I'm getting a paint job. Fuck this.
Yeah, so police did search all the black taxis, and Moore's taxi was actually forensically tested at one point, but nothing was found.
Wow.
Yeah, so they did search his.
Probably just not amazing police work. It sounds like everything was chaos at that time, so I'm not surprised.
A lot of the people in Northern Ireland, have an issue with the police because they feel that the reason why these murders were able to go as long as they did is because the people were Catholic and the police just turned a blind eye to what was happening.
Could be, yeah.
So there's people that feel that way. There's no way to really tell.
Right, but if you've got paramilitary groups and you've got, you had to get a third-party army in there to try and, restore peace, then it means that the police force, if the army's all in chaos, the police force is going to be in chaos too. Yeah. There's going to be people on both sides of the fence in the precincts,
Well, honestly, this whole thing makes me feel better about the Freedom Convoy.
Yeah. Fuck the Freedom Convoy. I don't care. Fuck it. Fucking bunch of babies banging pots and pans because you don't like something.
Well, we try not to get political on the show, but it's just, the Freedom Convoy is still better than having paramilitary groups that are murdering people.
Yes,
so
that's true.
I will definitely take the Freedom Convoy.
That's very true.
Over paramilitary groups.
You're absolutely right. Suddenly they don't seem nearly as bad.
No.
Yeah, I guess all they're doing is honking horns and being belligerent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And staying, blocking the busiest border crossing in
Canada.
Yeah, no,
they're being dicks. But you're right. No, it could be a lot worse. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Either way, in March of 1976, Murphy was arrested for committing a drive-by shooting against 2 women.
Oh, wow.
So he tried to shoot and kill 2 women while doing a drive-by, I guess.
Just for shits and giggles?
He's a fucked up dude.
Yeah, he's a fucked up dude.
I don't know how many more times I can say it.
Yeah.
Also, in this...
I think we can almost leave motive behind at this point. He's just that guy.
Yeah,
he's
just loves murder and mayhem.
Fucking psychopath.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's kind of funny, the comparison between this episode and last episode, because Mark Twitchell is a useless twat who, like, you know...
Still didn't really have a motive, though.
Yeah, but he was bad at what he did.
Yeah, I know. I wish this guy was as bad as Mark Twitchell. We wouldn't have gotten very far.
Yeah, come at me, bro.
Yeah. I panicked. I was self-defense, stabbing him a million pieces and then dumping him down the sewer. It was self-defense. He just ended up in the sewer while I was defending myself.
Because that's what normal people do, is they cut up people in, you know, little pieces during a panic.
Yeah, so I thought it was a sound defense strategy. Very sound.
So, Murphy's better at killing people than that, but I wish he wasn't.
Yeah.
But either way, a nice, fun blunder we can laugh at him for is Murphy abandoned the vehicle, but left a gun at the crime scene.
Really?
He also was stupid and decided to go back the next day to retrieve the gun and was arrested.
Oh, thank God. I understand this was a while ago, but the guy's a fucking boogeyman. I want him off the street, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, he's off the street now.
I know. I realize it was a long time ago, but I'm so into this story. I'm kind of like there in the moment. Just like, fuck, that's fucking creepy.
Well, and it's just, you know, like, I can't imagine hating a group of people so much that you just want them off.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it.
No.
You know, like, to me, in my opinion, you show your own weakness when you can't tolerate other people. You know, like.
Yeah. So he confessed to having the firearm and got sentenced to 12 years in prison for possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger life.
Okay.
So despite being in prison, Murphy was still commanding the gang from the inside. So he instructed them through William Moore.
I thought it was over.
No, it's not.
Oh, no.
So William Moore became, like, acting leader and was instructed by Murphy to keep killing to draw suspicion away from himself.
Okay.
You know, so 3 more murders happened. One on October 29th of 1976, February 2nd, and March 29th of 1977.
Okay.
You know, while he was in prison.
Yeah.
But on May 11th, 1977, the group tortured and attempted to kill another person, but instead of cutting his throat, they left him for dead.
Oh.
The man survived the ordeal, and a week later was able to positively identify members of the group.
Oh,
so this is their downfall.
So the brains of the operation was clearly locked up.
Yes.
The other idiots are too stupid to even kill the guy before dumping him.
Well, I read somewhere that they just didn't have access to the knives, but I'm not really sure.
Hey, I'm glad they're idiots. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad this guy made it. But no, if you want to kill someone, you can kill them. I mean, just figure it out, man.
Either way, so the victim also informed police of the taxi that Moore used to transport the victims.
Okay.
So when police forensically tested the car, they found evidence confirming that the victim was in fact kidnapped by that taxi.
Okay.
So they were able to tie the victim to the taxi.
We got the black taxi finally.
Yes, we did.
That nightmare taxi.
When brought in for questioning, Moore initially denied any involvement in the murders. He would later recant his statement and confess, stating, "Murphy done the first 3 and I done the rest."
Wow.
Yeah, so in total, police arrested 11 members of the gang, to which all of them confessed to their involvement in the murders.
Wow. Some kind of like an honor code they had amongst them or something where they don't want to be excluded from the blame?
Well, I think it's more so that they had guilt, but none of them implicated Murphy because they were terrified of him. He ruled with an iron fist.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So everyone was terrified of him and refused to kind of throw him under the bus, essentially.
Fuck you, Murphy.
Yep. So in February of 1979, the 11 members were tried and convicted of 19 murders and received a total of 42 life sentences between them.
Wow.
Which is nearly, I think, 2,000 years in total.
Oh, good.
Between 11 people.
Sentenced to 2,000 years in prison.
Between 11 people.
Yeah, I know. Between 11 people.
During the trial, Moore admitted to the throat cuttings and claimed he encouraged the gang to torture the victims.
Right.
So he instigated them to do all the torture.
Yeah.
Moore was convicted of 11 of the murders. In total, the group was responsible for at least 30 murders.
That's insane.
Right?
And it's not just murders, it's tortures. And it's
tortures, murders.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Ugh, scary stuff.
Right? So on July 16th, 1982, Murphy was released from prison. The very next day after being released, he beat someone to death and left their body in a back alley.
Murphy, okay, hold on a second. Murphy was released from prison when?
July 16th, 1982. So this is
20 years later-ish?
No, so that was 1979. They were convicted. And then 1982 is when he was released.
Why was he released so early? Because he wasn't implicated in any of the murders?
He got 12 years in prison.
Yeah.
For the shooting, for the drive-by shooting with the firearm.
Yeah.
But since no one implicated him, they couldn't try him, so he was able to be released.
So the idiot gets out and immediately murders
kills somebody the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. During this time, he also had plans to start up another murder gang because his other one was
it was so much fun the first time around. Jesus Christ, this fucking guy.
Well, this is your favorite next sentence, sweetie.
Yay!
On November 16th, 1982, Murphy was shot at least 20 times behind his girlfriend's house after he parked his car and died instantly.
Who shot him?
The IRA claims that they shot Murphy and burned his getaway car as well.
Yay! Ding dong, Murphy's dead. Which old Murphy?
Lenny.
The Lenny Murphy.
I had to think about that one, didn't you?
Well, I was going to say the Irish Murphy, but I didn't really think the Irish deserved to have their nationality tied in with this.
And I'm sure there's tons of Murphys.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, fair enough.
I think Murphy's a pretty common last name.
A handful of Murphys be in Ireland, I imagine. Yeah. So,
yes.
Yeah,
so Lenny Murphy specifically.
This specific piece of shit Murphy. Yeah.
Yes. So despite the many atrocities he committed, Murphy still had many followers who attended his funeral.
Of course.
During the funeral, members attacked a news photographer who was there to cover the event and had to receive hospital treatment.
Of course.
Yeah. So not really sure why they attacked the news photographer, but
because these are the kind of guys that just hang around with this dick.
Yeah.
Just violent thugs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Brains like a peahen.
What's a peahen?
Well, it's a small bird. It doesn't have a huge brain. That's the point.
Is it like a grouse?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, which in Alberta we call them ditch chickens.
Prairie chickens.
Prairie chickens. I thought it was ditch chickens.
I call them prairie chickens.
Well, you told me that when you're at
prairie chickens.
Prairie chickens. Oh, I thought you called them
No.
Either way.
We called them prairie chickens. We call a moose a swamp donkey.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yes. So this next part you're not gonna like.
Oh God! Why?
I mean, nobody else gets murdered.
Oh.
It's just, you're not going to like it. Moore and the other members were released in 1998 under the Good Friday Agreement, which was an agreement between the British government and the Irish governments to establish a new and devolved government for Northern Ireland Unionists and Nationalists so they could share power.
What? I was going to say, did the Queen come to visit and they flood the streets with convicts again?
Oh, like with...
Hello! Shit, the Queen's coming! Time to flood the convicts out, eh?
Yeah. If you're wondering what we're talking about, check out our Robert Raymond Cook episode.
Gets out of prison because the Queen's coming.
Because the Queen's coming.
I don't understand how the two things are connected, but apparently they are.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, with the new government, they released a lot of the criminals at that time.
Yeah.
Probably because there were a lot of people arrested at that time for
loyalists and
for their political views rather than their crimes, whereas these fucks should have been in there for 4,000 years.
2,000, yeah, exactly. So after his release, Moore was reported to be involved in drug dealing.
Of course.
So he ran a drug ring with the help of a different drug ring that resided in Scotland.
I mean, whatever. That's a much, much lighter crime than what they were doing, but they're not exactly stand-up citizens still.
And I think he got a too peaceful death. Like, he should have gotten a more harsh death, in my opinion. Moore died in his home on May 17th, 2009 of a heart attack and was buried in the same place as Murphy was.
Yeah, but that's life. That's life. It's not always a movie. Sometimes really good people die horrible deaths, and sometimes pieces of shit get to pass nicely.
No, I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
But still.
Oh, it sucks. It's not a good
Somebody should
story.
have stabbed him.
Yeah.
Or cut his throat.
Yeah, it's not how I'd end that story.
No, it's definitely not how I would end it either. But
I just wouldn't tell that story to begin with, to be honest.
well, yeah, well, we're telling it now.
Yay.
Honestly, the whole time, like, I know it's bad, but I was thinking of when Meredith from The Office, like, don't cut my throat.
Don't try to cut my throat.
Yeah, guys try to cut my throat and tell them, don't cut my throat.
Add a little bit of humor in there. Yeah.
So long story short, a really fucked up dude in Northern Ireland
Fucked up dude.
Yep. Decided to make an equally fucked up group that targeted and killed Catholic people because, despite his size, had a small dick.
Fuck you, Murray.
Because he was like 6 feet or something.
No?
I googled because I was curious.
He had a tiny peen.
I'm gonna say he did.
Yeah?
He had a small peen complex.
Looked like a Christmas tree light. And that's the real reason Murray was an asshole.
Nobody can know my dick is small.
Like a Christmas tree light.
Like a Christmas tree light.
Fuck you, Murray.
That's great. So thanks for listening to our podcast. Our next episode will be out March 1st. Check out our website, bondingovermurder.info, to find out where you can listen to us.
Also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram at Bonding Over Murder Podcast for updates and new episodes and info.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Fuck you, Murray.